What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Friday, and a big game coming up tomorrow, just a little over 24 hours away from the Titans regular season finale. Win and get in Jacksonville against the Jaguars for the AFC South title. We'll talk about this and dive deep into this game today. We will have our pregame, halftime, and postgame show content live throughout all of Saturday night with the Titans in Jacksonville for a playoff appearance on the line. Two key Titans had the playoff hopes on their shoulders for the Titans versus the Jags. We'll dive through it. Who's more important of those two guys? We'll talk through that. We'll hear from a Titans legend who was in the locker room yesterday. He's played in several of these type of games about what this game means. And then we're going to get everybody's gut feeling on the outcome of Titans-Jags for the AFC South title before we hit good news on the way out for this week, the first full week of 2023, wrapped up with a big game Saturday night in Jacksonville. Zach, welcome in. Hope your Friday is off to a great start.
Yeah, broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We got you covered there. We will tweet out segment by segment our YouTube links so you can get us locked in on Twitter at A to Z Sports. It's always a great follow. We've got great press conferences, post-game. We've got you covered when it comes to Titans over there at A to Z Sports in season and off season. And if you're following us there, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search A to Z Sports Nashville. We've got almost 11,000 subscribers on our YouTube page, and we love our YouTube page. And more people are going to YouTube, which is great. So subscribe to our YouTube page. We got tons of content, whether they're shorts from the show, whether they're clips, live streams, podcasts. So subscribe, A to Z Sports Nashville on YouTube. If you've already subscribed, hit the like button on this particular video. It'll help, the video grow and get more people in here and grow our community. That's what, all hands on deck. We're a team here. And then on Facebook, the OG team, the day one team of Facebook, bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. More people are going to be piling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes as you guys do. Share the show on Facebook. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. How that works is you guys share the show. I've shared the show. You guys need to share the show, and we can get that thing shared. So let's get this party started on a Friday on the eve of the biggest game of the season, a win or get in scenario against the Jacksonville Jaguars, just as I predicted week one.
Yeah. By the way, Zach, YouTube, just 67 subscribers away from that 11,000.
There you go.
We're creeping. Jeremy says right there, hit that subscribe button because we just need 67 more to get to 11,000. Hey, with number 11 starting at quarterback for the Titans. Let's get going officially here on this Friday. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show on our Twitter timeline, and also hit us up on Instagram and TikTok as well for more great Titans content. We've got to thank our sponsors because they truly make it happen for us, and they help out you guys, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or simply at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. That's better coverage, rates, and service. Learn more about a health plan for you, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call Hughes and Coleman for a free case consultation at 800-800-4600. So Josh Dobbs is the starter. Derrick Henry will play next to Josh Dobbs. The injury report looks pretty positive overall for the Titans going in to this game against the Jags, as Danico Autry, Derrick Henry, Jeffrey Simmons have no injury designations. There are a couple of guys, a few guys that were questionable. Traylon Burks, Christian Fulton, Amani Hooker listed as questionable. And so we'll find out what happens with that Saturday afternoon leading into 7:15 Central Time showdown between Titans and Jags for the AFC South title. And Zach, former Titans running back Eddie George was in the locker room yesterday to help the Titans media honor Kevin Byard. And he's been a part of a lot of big games like this, especially in the month of January for the Tennessee Titans. So let's hear from Eddie.
The right to continue to play in the next couple of weeks, and anything happens. So, it's a time we have to embrace each other. You have to really dig a little bit deeper and forge, find a way to win a game on the road against an opponent who's been hot. And that's a challenge that you definitely embrace, if you're really about that life. And I think this team is definitely ready for it. They've been had a lot of ups and downs over the course of the season. Right now, they're reeling for a win, and I think they're hungry for it. They have the leadership to do it.
Zach, that's the first time I've seen that Eddie clip, and I was waiting to kind of.
Eddie looks damn good. That was my first reaction.
Eddie looks damn good.
You know how old Eddie is?
I
know. So this is a good guessing game.
Let's see. 48.
Oh, very close. He's 49.
49.
I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to play this real quick. Eddie, we're going to have to watch that video again because I'll be honest, I didn't hear a damn word he said because I was
looking at
Eddie.
The right to continue to play.
Eddie shaved off the stubble. The man would look 23.
Yeah, he looks great. And by the way, again, the first time I've seen this, we'll get to the actual content, but that Heisman vest is freaking sweet. That, look at that thing. I had to take a screenshot of that because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a Heisman vest.
You can't buy those, I don't think.
No, you cannot buy those. Only a select few people can have access to those. And Derrick Henry's one of them.
Love of the show goes to Eddie George. I'm just going to do it. Sorry, chat. Eddie's going to steal the thunder today. Love of the show goes to Eddie George for that sick vest that has the Heisman emblem on that I don't think you can purchase. And now I'm going to go search for it.
It looks insane.
The man looks 30. He looks 30. He looks probably 35. I'm 35. The man's 49. So Eddie, stay in good shape. And we always do that about Eddie. Eddie took care of his body, always took care of his body, always was active, always was pursuing his hobbies. So, man, 27, proud representation of the Tennessee Titans strong right there.
Yeah, well, there's two ways that college football head coaches can go. They either stay in shape because they're around weights a bunch, or they just eat a bunch of donuts while watching film. And so you've seen Josh Heupel go one way and Eddie George go the other, although Eddie hasn't been coaching as long as Heupel has. So anyway, back to the actual content about what Eddie said. I feel like in different words, Eddie George and Mike Vrabel have the same type of message. When Mike Vrabel said, you gotta, work harder and say less, you got to be more than 8-4. And Eddie's saying in these type of games, you got to dig a little deeper and do a little more and go a little harder. It's kind of the same type of message that the current Titans head coach, the TSU head coach, and former Titan running back, have for this locker room this week.
Well, look, the concept makes a lot of sense. And when you have groups of people, I think you figure out that not everybody every single day gives 100%. And whether it's Monday or Tuesday or Saturday, that not everybody gives 100%. And I think that's the hard realization when you get a group of people together is, whether it is a college project, there's always going to be one person that's not going to do their job. They're going to give about 20%. But it's hard to find guys. It's really hard to find people that give 100% on a consistent basis. And I think what Vrabel and Eddie George are speaking about is you don't have the luxury anymore of getting 80 or 83 or 74 or 91%. They need every single person to give 100% effort every single day for 24 hours leading up to this game. And then once the kickoff, once toe meets leather, that's when you really got to give your all. And so that's what, no matter who's on the field, right? Because Harold Landry has a higher skill set than, some of the other pass rushers that are going to be rushing the quarterback, right? Just because of what we've seen. And so I think that's what Eddie and Mike Vrabel are on the same page. I agree with you. everybody has got to give 100% to at least have the opportunity to win, because it hasn't been working the last 6 weeks. I mean, they haven't won a game since November 17th.
Yeah.
Weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's January, boys and girls.
Literally 1 week before Thanksgiving, because it was a Thursday before Thanksgiving on Thursday Night Football.
It's January.
Yeah.
That is an abomination, honestly.
Yeah.
But
and again, like, we're talking about this when this team has 23 players on injured reserve currently. And that's guys who make a lot of money, who have significant names and impacted this team, like Harold Landry, like Taylor Lewan. David Long Jr. is not coming back for this game. Elijah Molden's played 1 game this year. Jamarco Jones, who was signed to be depth. Ben Jones, who is a massive leader for this. Bud Dupree, Harold Landry, Nate Davis, Zach Cunningham, all day one starters and key contributors that have been in and out of lineup throughout the season. Dontrell Hilliard emerged as a key playmaker, and then he's been gone, as has Andrew Adams, been a key playmaker, and now he's out too. So Eddie George, you got to dig deeper. You got to pull together, and it's really difficult to do that, and you need it even more when you've got that type of injury situation and adversity that they're going through. And I didn't even mention all 23 names on injury reserve. It's just been to Ryan Tannehill, right? I forgot about the damn starting quarterback who's making $39 million on the cap this season. There's
to
a
a
lot
degree, that doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, those are like, it is what it is. What has happened has happened. Like, it's in a 1-game scenario. You have who you have. Lewan's been out since week 2, so it doesn't matter, right? The guys that you are playing with are the guys that you're going to play with for this season. And this season is either going to conclude on Saturday night or be extended into the following week. So I think less about it. I think in the scope of what the season represents, and if you lose and end the season with a 7-game losing streak, then maybe you can kind of look more into that. But the guys you're going to war with on Saturday night are the guys you're going to war with.
Yeah, A to Z Sports here live on this Friday show, literally 1 day before Titans Jags for win and in for the AFC South title. There are 2 players who have all of the playoff hope weight on their shoulders. Let's talk about which one is more important for a Titans victory. Is it the 3rd starting quarterback of the season for the Titans in Josh Dobbs, or is it the face of the franchise, Derrick Henry? Who's more important for a Titans victory over the Jags? Josh Dobbs at quarterback or Derrick Henry at running back? Zach, first tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
FBHP.com/A to Z is where to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan last year in 2022 at the start of that year, and I'm carrying on over to 2023 because it was that good. It really was. Unfortunately, I used it throughout the course of 2022, but I'm glad that I had it. Whether I got the flu last spring and I used a Teladoc conference, I got prescriptions via that. I've been to urgent care because I got into a car accident because I was riding in a lift in St. Louis and had whiplash. I mean, like, things happen, right? There's an accident, sickness happens, but I was really glad that I had Farm Bureau Health Plans on my side for that luxury to say, okay, I don't have to freak out and pay a bunch of money. It was a part of my plan. Plus, I've talked about the allowance that they give you for your contacts and your teeth cleaning. So plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee for health, dental, and vision, 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That's FBHP.com/A to Z.
Also, don't forget, download the BetMGM app. And a lot of times we talk about the ways that you can become a new user of the BetMGM app. But we've got benefits for guys and gals who have already signed up with a BetMGM app with A to Z Sports. You can get a $50 bonus when your friend signs up via your Refer a Friend invitation on the BetMGM app. So it's a $50 bonus per friend. And you can refer up to 20 friends for up to a total of $1,000 in bonuses. So you log into the BetMGM app. If you're already an existing user, that Refer a Friend invitation helps you win and them win, because they get bonuses when they sign up from your invitation, and you get $50 a bonus per refer a friend invitation who signs up with BetMGM, up to $1,000 in refer a friend invitation bonuses. That is pretty incredible. So BetMGM always giving to new and existing users. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with knowledgeable free bets website credit. For bets expiring 7 days. For problem game of support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Talking Zach on this Friday show right before game day on a Saturday night live in Jacksonville. Titans at Jags for the chance to win the AFC South, to go to the playoff, host a playoff game between these two teams. Who is more important for a Titans victory over the Jags? Is it former Jags quarterback Josh Dobbs or former Yulee, Florida resident Derrick Henry? Zach, I'll send you to the chat to answer this question.
Yeah, let's see what the chat says. DeMario says Dobbs. Josh Dobbs from Steven. Tighten up, says Dobbs. But Jamel says Henry for sure. Dobbs from Stephen King. Did I just say that? So he's even surprised by his own answer. Dobbs because Henry will be Henry. Well, we've seen Henry not necessarily be Henry with the fumble problem. So that's unique. And it's going to definitely take both of them. But that's why we're asking this question. Derrick Henry to get yards and not fumble, as Tress is alluding to. Rike T says Dobbs. Derrick Henry from Nick. Jonathan says Dobbs. Henry from Alex. Henry from Jared. Texas Titan says Henry. Nick says Henry. Here comes the string of Henrys. Billy says Henry. Mockingbird Lane says Dobbs, though. Noah and Deshaun Washington say Dobbs. Derrick Henry from Tim. Denise says Dobbs. And I'm going to skip over the both. We're not asking both. I mean, of course, both are going to. They're going to need both to play well to beat the Jags. Will Dotson says Henry from Henry. Henry Blaze says Henry. He is the franchise. Tighten up. J-Bay says Dobbs. So, I mean, I think it's semi-split. There's a couple of Henrys from Daddy Hot Drops. Brian says Henry. Henry from Brian, but Mr. Jones says Dobbs. So, look, a ton of comments coming in. Josh Brown says Henry, but Jacoby says Dobbs. Austin, what do you think? Is it Henry or is it Dobbs when it comes to who is more important for the Titans to beat the Jags and extend their season Saturday night?
Yeah, so I think we have to understand when we're talking about these two players, we obviously know that, in my opinion, Derrick Henry is a future Hall of Fame NFL player. Josh Dobbs is making his second career start after being in the league for now over 6 seasons. So I think we have to understand we're grading these guys and judging these guys on different scales. So, like, a good game for both are very different. A good game from Derrick Henry is well over 100 yards and scoring touchdowns. A good game from Josh Dobbs is probably in that 200-yard range and limiting turnovers. So I struggle with this, but I'm going to say Josh Dobbs. I think it's more important for the Titans to get more out of Dobbs than it is out of Henry, because to some level, there is that level of expectation of Derrick Henry that you have to know you're going to get walking into the stadium. And Josh Dobbs, I think, is the wild card here, because if you look at the Titans' last 3 playoff losses, at Kansas City in the AFC title game, at home versus the Ravens after the 2020 season, and at home against the Bengals last year, Derrick Henry has been stopped. And when Derrick Henry gets stuffed in playoff games, and let's be honest, this is a playoff game. Like, this is a de facto playoff game, because there is no tomorrow if you lose. That's what playoff games show you. And so if Derrick Henry gets stopped, the Titans have lost these last games do or die situations because of the quarterback position. So I don't think it's, and again, my answer of Dobbs doesn't mean Josh Dobbs has to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns scored. I think it's more about limiting mistakes. It's more important for Josh Dobbs to play clean and limit mistakes and just do enough to allow the Titans to stay around this game and to keep Derrick Henry as an option. Because, again, in the playoff losses, Derrick Henry has been removed from the game plan because the Titans get behind. And when they're behind too much and you can't use your best player, that's tough. And so that's where I think it's Josh Dobbs is more important to limit mistakes so Derrick Henry can stay involved longer.
So a couple of things. You called me crazy at the beginning of the season when I said this was going to be the matchup in Week 18 to decide, because you said that Derrick Henry against the Jags. What are you talking about? And you listed, and I remember this, you listed all of the games that Derrick Henry had against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you're eating a little crow now all the way 18 weeks later because you're singing a different tune from week 1 to week 18. Now, a lot has changed, don't get me wrong, but this is a different statement. Do you remember that? Do you remember everything that I just said?
But Zach, circumstances have completely flipped up. Circumstances have completely flipped over.
But you were sitting here screaming about Derrick Henry versus the Jags. That was the reason why I was insane to say at the beginning of the season that this scenario would happen.
I was also expecting Ryan Tannehill to be the quarterback. I wasn't expecting Ryan Tannehill to miss 5 games or so this season and to be hobbled throughout the entire year. And also, let's remember this, Zach. Like, at one point this season, the Tennessee Titans were 7-3 and the Jags were 3-7. Like, this season and the last couple of months have completely flipped for both teams involved. The Jags were once 2-6, then they were 3-7. Now all of a sudden they've won 4 in a row and won a lot of games since then. The Titans were 7-3, looking at something special again, off their best offensive performance of the season in Green Bay, 27 points, a good running game, explosive passing game, scoring in the red zone. And ever since then, it's been a crap show. And so, like, an entire season has passed since that. Yeah, if you ask anybody in the month of June through August, who are the Titans going to rely on in a win-and-in game? Yeah, Derrick Henry is your answer in those months.
And that has not changed. That's the point. That's why my answer is Derrick Henry. And what you said was limit turnovers. Austin, who's had the most turnovers in the last several games?
Well, Derrick Henry, because he's been the most consistent player.
So if Derrick Henry is better at turnovers, he does 2 things for you, Austin. And this is kind of funny. I had no idea what you were going to say. I didn't know who you were going to pick. Yeah, that's the glory of this show. Right. But Austin, what are the 3 things that Mike Vrabel says? What's the recipe to win football games?
It is win the rushing battle. It is win the turnover battle. And it is having the higher quarterback rating in the game. And typically,
that's all I want. That's all I wanted to. That's all I needed for you to say.
Okay.
Because if controlling the rushing game is Derrick Henry, the guy who's had the most turnovers in the last several games is Derrick Henry. You only need 2 out of those 3. And here is the facts. Let's go. And I diagnosed this question because that's why very poignant. Who's more important for a Titans victory over the Jags? Who's more important for a Titans victory? How the Titans win? The recipe is simple. Run the football and play good defense. Run the football and play good defense. Running the football involves Derrick Henry. Joshua Dobbs they're going to lose if they're going to have to rely on Joshua Dobbs. If the Jags in their last 4 games, you may or may not know this, but in the last 4 games, that's their 4-game winning streak. The Jags have averaged 31.5 points.
I did know that.
If the Jags get anywhere close to that, the Titans aren't winning no matter what. Right. So it doesn't mean – that's why the question is for the Titans to win. If the Jags score 30 points, the Titans aren't winning. So it's a moot point. For the Titans to win, this needs to be a 20-17 type game or a 17-14 type game where Derrick Henry controls the clock and the Titans play good defense. Derrick Henry is the key to this because it's for the Titans to win. Josh Dobbs, it's not fair to Josh Dobbs to put any amount of weight on this guy after like 16 days of being in the building and then throwing him into this scenario. It is like it's playing with house money. He may play well. He's obviously played better than Malik Willis, and we've talked at length about that.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry is the key. He is the focus. He is the center point of the offense. And if the Titans win, or for the Titans to win, it needs to be on the shoulders of King Henry.
All right, so I've seen several good comments fly in here, and Nick bringing some stats here as well. So I'm going to read Nick's comment in a second, and more of your comments. We're asking this question and continuing to work through the conversation, which I think is a good conversation. I said Josh Dobbs, Zach said Derrick Henry. Who is more important for a Titans victory over the Jags between number 11 and number 22? So more of your comments, including Nick's, here in a second. But first, let me tell you guys about Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you get injured in a car wreck, which is an unfortunate situation that hopes never happens, right? But stuff happens, right? We've all seen Forrest Gump. Stuff happens, and you have to make sure you're prepared for it. And Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers can help you make a terrible situation a little bit better by getting you every dollar you deserve from being hurt and injured in a car wreck. So Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, for a free case consultation, give them a call, 800-800-4600. They've recovered over $1 billion for their clients over the past 30 years or so in Tennessee and Kentucky, and will do the same thing for you against the insurance companies. So Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, a free case consultation if you've been injured in a car wreck. Official injury lawyers of the Titans, 800-800-4600, principal office, Nashville, Tennessee.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. Download the app today, A to Z Sports, right there on your screen. That's the promo code. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on pro football. But here's the best part. You can score a $50 bonus when your friend signs up via your invitation of BetMGM. If you got somebody who doesn't have BetMGM, your invitation can get you $50. That's up to 20 friends. That's up to $1,000 in bonuses. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so more comments from you guys. Who is more important for a Titans victory over the Jags? Is it Derrick Henry or Josh Dobbs? Nick brings us up. Mickey Ryan, one of our buddies over on 104.5 The Zone, said on The Zone in his show with Blaine Bishop yesterday, the Titans are 6-0 versus Jacksonville when Henry rushes 18 times or more. Also, if Jacksonville has less than 28 minutes of time of possession, they only have one win. So ball control with Henry is huge. Nick,
thank you.
Those are some great stats via Mickey Ryan. So shout out to our buddy Mickey. It's pretty impressive there that's the formula to win. But again, the reason why I answered Josh Dobbs is because I expect good things from Derrick Henry in this game. Especially,
but this team has to have great things. That's the point. That's why he's more important. So you can't have good things.
But especially off of one extra week of rest for Derrick Henry, then knowing the fumble situation of the last several games for Derrick, where he's got 5 total fumbles in the last 5 games. He hasn't lost all of them, but they've come in bad situations. One of them, a crusher against the Jags at home. I think Derrick Henry will, and I trust that Derrick Henry will correct those things and do some bad man type of stuff in Jacksonville Saturday night. But I think it's a lot about Dobbs, because you asked the question, who's turned the ball over the most for this team over recently? And the answer is Derrick Henry, because he's the only guy on the offense who's played in the last 5 games minus previous to the Cowboys game. But Josh Dobbs had 1 interception and 2 fumbles in 1 game, and he lost 1 fumble, but so 2 turnovers, but another fumble too. So that's, my whole point of Dobbs is play clean, allow Derrick Henry to stay in the game longer. Don't create turnovers yourself, and make the throws that are there to be made. And we saw that a lot against Dallas, but turnovers hurt. Some his fault, some not his fault, but he's got to be good and clean for the Titans to win this game, because they're going to need more than just 150 yards from Derrick Henry and 2 touchdowns.
That's why he's more important, because Austin, it's not like Derrick over the last 5-6 weeks has been what we've seen, right? He hasn't been the 200 plus yard, 175, completely dominating performance, 2+ touchdowns. He hasn't been that. He has been a little bit of the opposite with the uncharacteristic fumbles that you mentioned. So that's why I disagree adamantly with your answer. And again, I did not know your answer prior to you saying it.
Same, yeah.
Is you're assuming that it's the old Derrick Henry. But what we've seen here with this offensive line, with this team, We don't have, you don't have the luxury to assume that Derrick Henry is good. That's why he is the most important piece for the Titans to get a victory.
All right, so the last 3 games that Derrick has played, it was against Jacksonville, at LA versus the Chargers, and Christmas Eve at home against the Texans. He has gone over 100 yards in all 3 of those games. He has averaged over 5 yards a carry in all 3 games, 7.1, 5.0, 5.5. He has scored a touchdown in all 3 of those games, and he has combined for just under 100 receiving yards in those 3 games. So Derrick Henry
Did you watch all 3 of those games, Austin?
Yeah, I have.
What happened in the second half of all?
And that's exactly, Zach, I was throwing the stats out to get to the point. So those are the stats. Those are majorly first half stats. And that's
it don't matter. He has to be more important over 4 quarters.
I know. But why have the Titans been forced and pushed to get away from Derrick Henry in the second half?
Turnovers and bad defense.
Turnovers,
running the football, good defense,
penalties,
equal opportunity to win.
Right.
It's not Josh Dobbs throwing.
And so again, I didn't say it's Josh Dobbs throwing. I think Josh Dobbs needs 200 yards passing, and Derrick Henry needs at least 150 yards rushing, and that's a good recipe for the Titans to win this game.
Well, here, let's bring up Rashid's comment. What about your boy Todd Downing, though, right? Because there's something sprinkled in there of Todd Downing helping or hurting Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, and I'm actually, before I answer that question, because one, Todd Downing is not my boy.
He's your boy on this show because of how much you dislike him.
Yeah, he is not my boy. I am going to.
You don't watch enough PTI then.
I mean, I haven't watched PTI. I know I haven't watched PTI in a long time. I love that show, but it's things change. So Todd Downing's a massive impact in this too. There's no denying that. He has to call a good game. The irony is, I think Todd Downing probably called one of it top 5 game of the season called for Todd Downing against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the players didn't make the play.
Yeah, that's not saying much, but if Green Bay is the best game he's called all season, there's a significant drop off there. You've got like the first half in Indianapolis when they scored 24 points in the first half. That was a good half by Downing, but the second half was god awful because they scored 0 and there was some bad play calls. So, Todd Downing, good against the Cowboys. What does he do with now Dobbs and Henry? There is an impact there, but I am going to text our Titans reporter, Sam Phelan. I'm going to put a project on him so everybody can know this. I'm going to have Sam chart the splits for Derrick Henry rushing yards in the first half compared to Derrick Henry rushing yards in the second half this season, just to see how big of a difference that is. Because it's got to be gargantuan.
Well, yeah, because they've been playing from behind, especially because a huge chunk of their season, like the games that they won to get to 7-3 were very, very close, right? I mean, the Washington Commanders last play, the Raiders game where the Darren Waller last play, essentially, like the Giants last play, their wins, the Giants was a loss, but those early games, that is a shell of what we've seen over the last 6 weeks. It's just completely turned on its head. And, John here's some jackpot bucks. They're going to Jack. Last season, after Henry got hurt, they relied too much on Tannehill, and he made mistakes. This year, they were relying too much on Henry, and he is making mistakes. That is why Dobbs is going to be the surprise and important. I don't think, John, I don't think either of us, or at least I'm not saying that Dobbs is not going to be important. The question is who is more important.
Well, because let's look at the show title. It's the Josh Dobbs and Derrick Henry have the most on their shoulder. They got the playoff hopes on their shoulders versus the Jags because both guys have to play well. Both guys cannot make catastrophic mistakes with fumbles and interceptions. And both guys have to make plays for this team and this offense, especially with not knowing what's going on with Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks got hurt in practice. I believe it was technically Wednesday is when Treylon Burks showed up on the injury report after practice, and he was healthy going into it. And then he is now did not practice yesterday and is listed as questionable. And we really don't know what to expect from that. But Dobbs got to step up. Henry's got to step up. This offensive line has to play clean too. You can't have stupid chop block penalties to set up 1st and 25 on your own 15-yard line anymore. And we've seen that happen several times, but it's a big game for everybody, but everything is on 22-11 there on the graphic below me.
Yeah, well, and that's why Saturday Night Lights going to be a big game.
Yeah, it is. Real quick on Treylon Burks, and I want to play this video because Mike Vrabel did give an update on Burks. It's very quick, but just check this out. And I real quick, Zach, want to know your thoughts on what you think this means from Vrabel.
Well, I think he'll be okay. We hold him out today.
Vrabel says he'll think he'll be okay. I have my doubts that Burks is going to be available Saturday night. That's just my quick take on that.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't. It's hard to read Vrabel. I think that's the key to that video. Is Vrabel's going to be Vrabel, and he's going to hide what he's going to hide. So we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see what happens. Okay, Zach. Second topic for today. We're going to go to our gut. Everybody involved, we want a gut check here. What is your gut feeling on the outcome of Titans-Jags Saturday night for the AFC South title? What is your gut feeling on this outcome? We'll do our pregame show tomorrow night as well. But what is your gut feeling on this game? But Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. They're hooking you up with your perfect make and model when it comes to a new vehicle. And look, it's 2023. Maybe it's time to get that full-size SUV with third-row seating called the Hyundai Palisade. Well, Wilson County Hyundai has it right there. You can go online to wilsoncountyhyundai.com or make the quick trip I-40 exit 236. It's been trusted. A to Z Sports loves Wilson County Hyundai. It's family owned and operated, which is also important. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Download that BetMGM app. And hey, if you are an existing user, we talked about it earlier today, but a great refer a friend option for you to get extra bonus money with BetMGM and the app that you already are hanging out with. So you get a $50 bonus when your friend signs up via your refer a friend invitation. They get $50 too when they sign up. So you can refer up to 20 friends to join BetMGM. That's a total of $1,000 in bonuses for you. That's that refer a friend invitation in the app. So log in the app, refer a friend, send that to them via text. It's super easy to do it, and you can win with up to $1,000 in bonuses for your friends signing up with BetMGM. It's almost playoff time, which is going to be a lot of fun with BetMGM. They've got deals that'll help you win big as well. So, Zach, the question we're asking here, gut check time. What is your gut feeling on the outcome Saturday night, Titans versus Jags? I'll send you to the chat.
Mr. Jones and me, not and me, but he says the Titans dominate. I don't know about that. Now, I definitely think this is a good matchup, right? It is a win and get in scenario, divisional opponent. They're not like both great teams. They're not both terrible teams at the bottom of the league. You could argue probably for one, maybe being a terrible team, but they traditionally, this was a split series for a number of years, right? I mean, there's history. There's all of that. Now, Derrick Henry has had the upper hand in the last several years, but this is different. It's a one-game thing, and I think anything can happen.
Yeah. Do you know the last year that the Jags swept the Titans?
Swept the Titans?
Yeah. The last year, the Jags swept the Titans.
Was it before 2017?
Yeah. Yes.
$2014?
No, you're gonna have to go back. 2005. 2005. The last time the Jags swept the Titans in the regular season.
David Garrard?
I mean, Mark Brunell might have been running around there.
Let's see.
That
2000.
That might have been Byron Leftwich. But 2005.
Byron Leftwich. Lost in the Wild. Oh, this is look. I love memory lane stuff. This is good. The 2005 Jacksonville Jaguars under Jack Del Rio were 12-4 which is wild.
That was a really bad year for the Titans too. That was a year that I think all the Titans players got hurt because that's what led to them having the third overall pick to draft Vince Young that next spring in 06 draft.
They beat the Titans in Tennessee 31-28 and then boat raced them 40-13 and lost to the Patriots in the playoffs 28-3. So there's that. Let's go back to the chat.
Yeah.
Gut feeling outcome, Titans Jags on a Friday, playing on Saturday night. Jags win by 2 scores, coming in from Tim. I hope a loss, unfortunately. Valentino, my guy, must have listened to yesterday's show. Titans win 23-20. An ugly win from John. Gut is win by 14 by the Titans from J-Rome. The Titans will let Titans fans down like they did all season from Guy. 27-24 Stephen King. Titans lose. Eric says, see you next season, boys. 34, Jags 21. If the Titans score 34 points, John Lester, we'll refund.
Some of it's on defense.
Titans score 34 points. We'll refund you $20.
I don't know how to do that, but we can
figure it out, John. We'll get your Venmo. But Titans 34, Jags 21. That's wild. I usually don't make bets that we can't cash. We can cash that $20 right there. No matter what, I don't think the Titans have scored 34 points and scored 30 points all season. Unless now you have to, you don't have to have a winner. That's the key, right? Because overtime, you can end in a tie. Do we know that scenario? If it's a tie, the Jags go.
If it's a tie, I believe the Titans go. No.
The Jags go because they have the tie break.
That's what it was. So there was a scenario before the Titans have lost the last 2 games that if the Titans win 2 and tie, then they could go. But that's not a
Jared says 17-14 Titans. Tighten up says Jags win. Get beat by 2 touchdowns. So Noah says Jags win. Titans by 3 and a close one from Corey. What's your gut feeling in this win and get in scenario for tomorrow night?
Zach, my gut feeling is that this is going to be a very close game. I think we're going to be in a situation in the fourth quarter where the Titans are down by 4 points, not 3, down by 4. Got to have a touchdown. And you're going to see Josh Dobbs and Derrick Henry on the field with a chance to go win it.
Derrick Henry, why would he be on the field?
Because there's enough time. I'm not saying 2-minute drive. I'm saying
he ain't on the field when it's close.
No, I'm talking about down by 4 with 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. I'm not talking about peak end of game situation. There's going to be a drive where the Titans have it all right there. And I don't think they can do it. I think the Titans end up losing this game by more than a field goal, less than a touchdown. So that's kind of my gut right now. How does my gut change over the next 24 hours? We'll find out for what my pregame feel is tomorrow evening, 30 minutes before kickoff, because we do our predictions right before kickoff presented by BetMGM on the pregame show with Buddy Allen, Carpet One. But that's my gut right now, is that the Titans lose this game close, but they have a chance, and you're going to be kicking yourself because it was that close. That's how I feel.
The Jags are playing really good football. Like I said, they're averaging 31.5 points over the last 4 games, which they've won all 4 games. And Trevor Lawrence has thrown 7 touchdowns in those last 4 games. And he didn't throw a single touchdown the last 2 games. And they scored 30 points against the Texans. So he had under 200 yards passing against the Texans last week. They're winning in multiple ways. The Titans have lost 6 in a row. My gut says that the Titans lose this football game. But here is the one thing that I think I'm closer, Austin, to what you said of it being maybe within a score. I think NFL games are close games. I think it could be a 7 or a 6. I don't think it's a 4. The Jags have never been in this situation, or very rarely been in this situation, where they have all of the momentum, right? They have the home field advantage. They have the fans on their side. They have the optimism, where the Titans are on the other side saying, you're going to count them out when you count the Titans out, they usually prove everybody wrong and play really good football. So I think that combination, I think my fear, and it comes down to points, scoring points. That's how you win games.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Titans, their weakness is not run defense, it's passing defense. And that's something that the Jags have excelled in. They've got better weapons, and I just think that the Titans are going to struggle to keep up. So, like, John said 34 points. If the Jags score 28 or 30, or hell, I think even 27, the Titans will not win this game. They don't have the horses.
Yeah.
You cannot compete in the race if you don't have the horse. And unfortunately, I just think that that's the scenario. And like I said yesterday, I think that that's a positive. It's not a bad thing because of the top 10 pick that you possibly can have because of the log jam of the NFL of 13 teams having 7 or 8 wins at this juncture. That's movement, baby. And the Titans need better players. And how you're going to get better players is picking in the top 10 each round instead of picking in the bottom half, the bottom third, which would be 20th or 19th or 21st. And so this playoff run that I think Titans fans in their gut are like, man, they can do it. It's just not good for the long term. And so I think that at this point in time, what we've seen from the Titans, they need a reset because you are so far away from the Bengals, the Bills, and the Chiefs. You can't keep doing this. And I just don't think that they have, with their offensive line, their wide receiver core or lack thereof, and the question marks with their pass defense. The Jags have the pressure because they're the better team, but I just don't think that the Titans can compete.
So I think there's two things that make me feel better about the Titans than maybe you are right now. I think one of them is the guys returning from injury because there are key defensive players that I think will have a bigger impact against the Jags passing game that are back. Danico Autry is healthy, right? He was jumping around with his sprained knee at practice this week. Jeffrey Simmons is back. He's not even on the injury report at all either. So that's a big deal right there for the defense. Plus, Christian Fulton and Amani Hooker, you're talking about pass defense. Those two guys are two of your better defenders, especially when it comes into Evan Ingram at tight end for the Jags, who torched them in the first matchup. The other thing that makes me feel a little bit better about the Titans is the fact of it's who the Jags have beaten up on the last couple of weeks. They were at the Jets with a quarterback that nobody's heard of after Zach Wilson got benched because Matt White was hurt. Like, the Jets are down bad when the backup to their second overall pick who got benched is hurt and they're playing a guy that nobody knows.
Well, the Jets have a good defense, and they showed that because that was the fewest total the Jags scored in the 4 games.
Yeah, it was basically 19-0 because the Trevor Lawrence fumble in the opening possession gave the Jets a field goal without moving the football to get 3 points on the board. So it was a weird weather day, all that stuff, right? So then the Texans we know are trying to lose. So, and Travis Etienne ran wild, a defensive touchdown. So it was a pretty easy, gain a lead, sit on it type of performance for the Jags. So again, defense getting healthier, and the Jags have been beating up on the Jets and the Texans.
What about the previous two?
The Cowboys thing, that's the one
that's what changed their season.
Yeah.
The Titans. So again, if you say all 4 games, don't just pick the 2 that you want. Go back and talk about the other previous 2.
I said the last 2. That's why I set it up.
Yeah, but what changed their season of the Jacksonville Jaguars was gaining the confidence to beat the brakes off of the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, and then following that up with competing in a 40-point high-scoring type game in overtime and getting a win at home against America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. That flipped their season. And if you get that Jags type team, the Titans are going to get beat by 14 again. They just are.
Yeah, the win over the Cowboys is the Jags team that you have to be worried about. Absolutely.
And they're in there. Here's the unknown, Austin, is we don't know that team with Joshua Dobbs and Derrick Henry, right? Because they've never played together.
Right.
So, like, it's hard to see or vision, man, Derrick ran for 173 and 2 touchdowns, and Dobbs threw for 2 touchdowns, one to Hooper and one to Woods. And they scored 34 points, and we're having to reimburse John his $20. Like, we don't know. I don't know what that looks like. That makes what I just said. I'm a logical man. I'm a realist. That's how I live my life. I pride myself on that. That does not seem logical because I have not witnessed that.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. And we're going to have a big day tomorrow. Buck Rising will have Titan game day morning, Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So get ready for that to kick off all of the pregame coverage for A to Z Sports on our Facebook and YouTube. So game day morning at 11. Zach and I will be live at 6:45 p.m. Central, 30 minutes before kickoff between the Jags and the Titans there in Duval County, and then halftime and post-game show as well. So a lot to get to. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day and a long day. So we're looking forward to that. But Zach, let's go ahead and get to Ain't That Good News to wrap up the first week of 2023. But let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to go to, who to trust, who to believe in when it comes to getting you back to health. Because I had a foot injury, plantar fasciitis, back in the summer, went to Bone and Joint Institute, got me what I needed, and I'm back. I'm good. No pain at all in my foot. I've had surgery from the guys at the Bone and Joint Institute before. They know how to do it. They've got that state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus in Franklin to help you out as well. boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, we're powered by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. You refer a friend to the BetMGM app, you get $50 up to 20 friends. So if you got 20 friends, you can score $1,000. I mean, that's a deal. Use the promo code ATOZ Sports for new users. Sign up. We're hooking you up. We love BetMGM. You can get in on that action. Tons of football, college basketball is going on. The NBA is going on. So download the BetMGM app in your Apple or Android store. That's some good news. We'll get to some more good news.
All right, ain't that good news to start 2023 for the first time? Again, I teased my good news yesterday, a Christmas gift that I can't wait to share. But Jared says, good news, I get my weekend back after this Titan season ends tomorrow. And then another Jared says, good news, still have Downing. The Titans will get that top 10 pick. Amber says, hopefully the Jags need Bone and Joint Institute, help, tighten up there. Roy says, good news, the Titans are still in the playoff picture. Eric says, who gives a damn, about to be AFC South champs. Ryan says, good news, will be there in 3-time AFC South champs tomorrow night. Heard it here first. From that, Denise says, good news, went to Nashville and Memphis, 7 states in 7 days, 3,000 miles driving. I would wonder, what's the reason? Was it pleasure? Was it just a road trip for fun, or was it for a reason? So Jeff says, good news this week. He and his mom booked the flights to go to Italy for 10 days in April and May. That sounds fantastic. Let's see. John says, good news is Zach is going to owe me $20. So what was the bet again? What was the
34? The Titans have to score 34 points, and I'll reimburse John his $20.
Absolutely. Brad says, good news is that DeMar Hamlin is recovering and making progress. I think everybody feels that, and I've been paying attention to every step along the way. DeMar Hamlin responding, being able to write notes, being able to squeeze hands of loved ones, and being able to still sedated as he's critically ill still is what they're saying because of the heart attack, the CPR, everything that goes into that. But making significant progress. That is fantastic news that we've seen. Zach, what is your good news? Or if you see more good news in the chat.
Well, look, I've got to pay off my magic bucket. I haven't heard you pay off yours today.
Mine did not say the next show. Mine just said future show. It actually didn't even say that. It just says, hum the Office theme song to break the tension in the middle of an argument. I don't think there was an argument.
I don't want to get here 3 months down the road and it still not be done.
No, but again, I was ready for it. I was ready for it. I just didn't think today had enough tension to warrant the Magic Bucket Office theme.
So my good news actually goes, and rarely, very rarely, does the magic bucket bring good news. It usually good news for others, not good news for the person picking. My good news has to do with what I will be partaking in. I'll have to save my good peanut butter story for another day, because last night, and I'm going to have to say the word, but I did something nice for my fiance, and in May, I'll no longer have to say that. And I got us and her some crumble cookies. And why I got crumble cookies is because I look at crumble cookies every week. I'll say this. I know every single week what the flavors are. I am a crumble connoisseur to a degree. I don't buy them every week because I'm particular. Well, this particular week, they have the best cookie. And so here's good news. I'm giving you guys Crumble's best cookie because he only got a couple more days. And it is unique, and it is weird, and it is like surprising that I would say this because I am a chocolate fiend. But their best cookie is cornbread.
Cornbread cookie.
Cornbread cookie. And it's got like a sweet buttercream icing, like dollop right on top. But go to Crumble Cookie and taste their cornbread cookie, get it, and then put it in the microwave and heat it up for 15 seconds and eat it with a fork so you don't burn yourself. It is delicious. Well, another one of their cookies, because I only got the 4-pack because, I support our sponsors. I'm a company man. When you own a company, you got to be a company guy. And they had peanut butter and jelly cookie. I'm going to take the peanut butter from the peanut butter and jelly cookie and pay off my magic bucket, which is put peanut butter on the roof of my mouth.
Yes,
cornbread cookie, buy it, get it. It's Friday. Treat yourself. Go to Crumble. This is, yes, it is an endorsement, but I believe in the product. And when I'm passionate about something, damn it, I believe in it. Just like the trash ass HOA that I live in. So I believe in that, but I also believe in the cornbread crumble cookie. Get it.
That's incredible. All right, let's see what you got here. So you got that peanut butter.
Like, not bad peanut butter.
Of course it's good peanut butter. It's on a damn cookie. And all peanut butter is good in my opinion. I know you've got
some of this cookie too.
Right. There you go. All right. So my good news, Zach, is that for Christmas, my wife got me an experience activity gift that I had no idea was coming. Zach, at some point this upcoming year, I will get to, by myself, drive a real race car on a real race car track. At Nashville Super Speedway, I will go through a class, and then I will get to go suit up, full race car suit, full helmet gear, everything, with a person in my helmet ear that directs me around the track. And I cannot wait to do it. I have no idea how this is going to go. I have to take a class and like a test so they can tell how fast should they allow me to go. And so I want to train on that so I can get to go faster, but I get to drive a freaking race car by myself. This isn't a ride along. This isn't driving with somebody next to me. I'm in the car by myself with somebody radioing in my ear, giving me direction. So
one question I have.
Yeah.
And it's not that big of a deal because I think because of what you're doing. Do you know how to drive a stick shift?
No, I've never had to learn. And so I have to.
There's your training.
I've never had a reason to learn how to drive a stick, and now I do. So the good thing is
that may be a Monday question. I think that's a good Monday question. And we won't ask it right now, but can you drive a stick? That I guess is what they'll teach you, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information.
But you're going you're in 5th gear, right? So I think it will be less important. That's why I said that's why.
And John said, "Can you record this stuff?" Yes, they will have a video camera on me the entire time with audio of me, the instructions I'm getting. So I can't wait. I get to go drive a race car on a race car track at Nashville Super Speedway at some point this year. So the good thing is the gift certificate doesn't expire. So I get time to learn how to drive a stick to make sure I can go as fast as possible.
See, that's a good company because when my skydiving debacle, and yeah, I say that because that's what it was. You had a year, and so I got the money back, which they never do. But the lifetime gift card, that's valuable.
Yes, and so I'm pumped, and so I can't wait. And whenever I do it, of course, we'll be able to share some of that video of me driving a race car. But I'm pretty pumped up about that. So that is my good news: is I get to drive a race car this year.
And I'm excited to hear what your top speed is, right? Because that's something that you go faster than you've ever gone.
That would be ideal. That's
Maybe.
what I would.
I don't know if you street race back.
I mean,
look, we've all done dumb stuff in our lives. So, like, I don't know if you've ever.
I don't think I've ever gone over 100.
What?
I don't think I've ever gone over 100. I've never had a reason to go over 100.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that.
I've never driven.
You've never gone over 100 miles an hour in a car?
No.
All right, we're writing 2 think questions down. Look, you've just planned the show for the next 2 weeks for Mondays. Stick shift and 100 miles an hour.
I've never gone over
100. You're not life in the fast lane. That is wild.
Why would I go over 100? Like, there's no reason to.
I mean, there's plenty of times. There's plenty of times. Look, maybe I'm out of line here, but we'll ask that Monday if anybody's ever gone over 100 miles per hour. I find that fascinating.
I think I'm
not an all caps guy, but I am with Daryl right here.
I would love to know how fast
I can tell you how fast I've gone.
Well, you can save it for whenever we have that conversation.
Yeah.
I've never gone over 100. There's no reason for me to go over 100. That would be stupid.
Well, there's scenarios, but that's we'll save it for the segment.
I've had a speeding ticket at 90 before, and that wasn't fun.
So you're 10 away. Would you get reckless driving?
It was I was in the middle of rural Alabama going to the beach, and I was just cruising because nobody was around me at 90. So yeah.
So I will pay off just because I don't know when the next time I'll be able to do that. But somebody, and I can't scroll up enough, but they asked me about my fancy peanut butter. So what you need to do, and this is the best peanut butter. And sometimes at Kroger, you can actually like churn your own peanuts and get real authentic peanut butter, which I value and like. But here is your fancy peanut butter. It's expensive, but it's good. It is Justin's peanut butter. This is the good stuff. This ain't your Peter Pan. This ain't your Tinkerbells. This is Justin's. Justin's is real, authentic peanut butter, naturally delicious. They don't pay us any money, but maybe one day. Justin's peanut butter. That's my type of peanut butter.
There you go. All right, everybody. That's our week. We'll be back tomorrow, though, because this week is going to be busy. Also, A to Z Sports Picks with Alan Bell, Brian Edwards coming up at 2 p.m. Central Time. If you want to get your sports betting in for this weekend slate of Week 18 games, they've got you covered.
Real quick. Well, I don't mean to cut you off. We're planning future shows, baby. I love this. It's less work on us. Optimistic Jags fan. This is a question we can pose in our pregame show. 30 minutes before the game starts on Saturday. Optimistic Jag fan, come in. We want come one, come all. And I think that's a valid question that we can kind of pose.
Also, final good news of the day, because this just came in like 8 minutes ago via Ian Rappaport. For the first time, Bills safety Damar Hamlin is addressing the team via FaceTime. The breathing tube is out, and he spent the morning speaking to various teammates on FaceTime. Now he's delivering a message to the entire group, I'm told. So Damar Hamlin speaking.
Huge.
That is massive, massive. And again, another update from 1 minute ago from the Buffalo Bills. Per the physicians at UCMC, Damar's breathing tube was removed overnight. He continues to progress remarkably in his recovery. His neurologic function remains intact, and he has been able to talk to his family and care team. So massive, massive updates.
Man, I got
on this.
right there.
Yeah, seriously. So that's incredible news for Damar Hamlin. So that's a great way to wrap up this Friday show. We hope everybody has a safe start to the weekend. Don't wait too long because we're going to be back pretty quick. Like I mentioned, pick show today at 2 o'clock to get your bet set for the weekend. Buck Rising Live, 11 a.m. Tomorrow for Titan Game Day morning. And then Zach and I will be live for pregame at 6:45. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. We're getting closer and closer to 11K. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a great rest of your Friday. Appreciate it as always.
Adios.